Hi everyone, we're talking today about John the Baptist. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. This is the testimony given by John when the Judeans sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and didn't deny it. He confessed, "I am not the Messiah." They asked him, "Well, what then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I'm not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." And they said, "Well, who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, "I am the voice crying out in the wilderness, 'Make straight the paths of the Lord,' as the prophet Isaiah said. I baptize with water. Among you stands one whom you don't know, the one who is coming after me. I am not worthy to untie the strap of his sandal." So how did you learn about Jesus? I think sometimes we have this myth of everybody sitting down and doing their solitary study of the Bible and coming to believe all the things they believe about God, about Christ. But the truth is, for really all of us, someone pointed you to him. You made decisions along the way, and those matter, they still do, but you are indebted to messengers who came before you, and they're indebted to people that came before them. Now, we want to make sure that we don't mistake those messengers with their message. You see that here in the gospel where there's some confusion about John and who he is, and they want to know for sure, and they want to know if he's the Messiah that they're waiting for, at least if he claims it. But he's saying that, no, that's not my job. I'm trying to point you to this other one. Brian Zahnd has made an interesting point about what it says here about John. I think is a similar way that we can think about the Bible, because the Bible points to the Word of God, who is Christ. The Bible is not the Word of God itself. Its role is to point to Christ. And even today, though, there's a lot of us who spend our time pointing to Christ, who also tend to want a lot of focus on themselves. It's hard to step out of the spotlight, isn't it? And we always think that there's just good motivations behind that. We want a bigger platform. We want more power, supposedly so that we can do more good for Jesus. But a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. Can we have the wisdom and humility to recognize when we're really not doing it for him, we're doing it for ourselves? Now, John is important. Right? We're still talking about him 2,000 years later. And as we said, the people who have passed on the message, they matter too. And so sometimes you do need to step out and get people's attention. But you also need to know when to step back so that you don't take over someone else's story, the story of Jesus.